Hey everybody, Clay Archer, CEO DBC Technology, and it's that time of the year again. Today we're going to look back at 2025, and I'm going to talk about my 5 favorite UniFi devices from 2025, and we're going to look forward to 2026, and I'm going to look into the crystal ball and try and predict the 5 things I would like to see in 2026. So let's jump right into it. These are my 5 favorite items from 2025, and I don't have them in any particular order, although I am going to save my favorite for last. Right off the bat, I'm going to give you 2 honorable mentions. These things I really like and was very impressed with in 2025, but they didn't quite make my top 5. One is going to be the Flex Utility Pro. I just used one on my UDB switch video a few weeks ago. We put one on the light pole in the parking lot. Incredible little box, great value. You should check one out. You won't be disappointed. The other one didn't make my list because it's probably outside of most people's price range, but is an incredible piece of kit, is the UniFi rack. You know, over the years, we probably bought a half dozen racks for DPC Technology and probably dozens and dozens for our clients. And this is a really beautiful unit. Shipping's expensive, but they did a great job on that packaging. So if you are in the market and have the budget, it is an incredible rack. You won't be disappointed. So on to the 5 that made the list. First for me is going to be the Flex 2.5 PoE. As you know, if you follow the channel, we do a lot of testing, and it's really cool to be able to have these little 2.5 gigabit 8-port switches and have it be powered by PoE and deliver PoE to other devices. So for us, we put cameras on the roof, throw this device up there, power it with PoE, and then have it power the cameras with PoE. Makes it very simple and very flexible for us. And throw in the Flex Utility Pro box, it makes this an outdoor killer. We also have several of these around the office internally, not only just for testing cameras, but as a staging bench. So if we're going to deploy 5 or 6 phones to somebody, we can just plug them in really quickly, get PoE. It's the perfect little staging device. So that's first on our list. Second on our list is the UNVR Instant. I really like this kit a lot. I think this is a great stepping off point for most people to get into security cameras. So when I first started to put UniFi surveillance systems in back in the day, people would come up to me and say, hey, there's this cool kit up at Costco. It's $7.99 and it's got everything in it. And I'd have to tell them, that's not the kit we use. Yada, yada, yada. Well, now there is an inexpensive kit you can buy directly from UniFi. It's got everything in it. It's all ready to go, and you don't have to have any other UniFi gear to make it work. This really is an amazing deal, and by proxy, I'm kind of voting again this year for the G5 Ultra Turret. I think for $129, those are really killer cameras, and it's hard to beat them. They don't have the AI features, but most people don't need that, and you can mix and match some AI cameras and add them to this kit, and it'll run them. So you can put the AI cameras where you need the AI, and you can put the regular G5 Ultra turrets where you need them as well. So the UNVR Instant is my second pick here. And my third pick is SuperLink. And spoiler alert, this may come up later in this video as well. I think that SuperLink is a really cool technology, and I'm looking forward to what UniFi is going to do with it in the future. When I heard that SuperLink was coming out, I built out my home assistant setup to add Zigbee to MQTT to see what that looked like and how to manage that. As you may have seen in one of my older videos, I put Zigbee compatible electric blinds in my office. And that was a cool little experiment, but it didn't really pull it all together. So this year I played around with Zigbee to MQTT, and while it was pretty powerful, I realized very quickly this is not something that my mother or my brother or my sister could do. That whole installation is very technical, very black box, very non-user friendly. And as a matter of fact, over the last 12 months, it has died on me a couple times as each one of those individual pieces has needed updates. So what does that have to do with Ubiquiti? Well, with SuperLink, everything just adopts like every other UniFi product. Also, Home Assistant talks really well with Ubiquiti and UniFi equipment. So you combine that with Alarm Manager, I think there's a lot to love in SuperLink, and I think there's only going to be more going forward. So number 4, we're going to go with another switch. And again, this is my list, and I use these things all the time, and I'm going to go with the UDB switch. I've really been impressed with the whole device bridge lineup, but this UDB switch just makes things so much easier, and I can see so many use cases for this. For me, we put it on a light pole in the parking lot. It just fired up, came on, and acted as if it was just a wired switch. It's been running for over a month now. 0 glitches, 0 hangups. For us also, we do a lot of installations in really old buildings that running a cable is very, very difficult. Think concrete block, ranch style building with no attic, no basement, and you've got to get from one side to the other. This is the perfect use case for that. If you're in a residential area where getting from one floor to another is really difficult, or you're in an apartment and you can't drill holes in the walls at all, going from one room to the other with the switching all integrated is really amazing. I don't know if you checked out Lars's review online, but he did a really nice job of showing it installed on his farm. And that's the perfect use case for it. If you've got a barn or a shed or somewhere where you want to extend your network but don't want to have to run a wire to it, this is the perfect device for you. And that brings me to my favorite device of 2025. Drum roll, please. As no surprise, it is the UCG Fiber. I'm in a pretty lucky position that I get to test out all the UniFi gear, and this one, it truly, to me, is a special device. The amount of processing power and throughput that you get out of this device at this price point is amazing. Last year, I tested a bunch of new routers from the UDR7 all the way up to the EFG, and honestly, I was just blown away by the UCG Fiber, and it is the one that I am using at my house to this day. It really is a great device. It's got the built-in NVR, it's got built-in PoE, it's got built-in 10 gig. Everything about this device really is top notch. And I honestly think of it as a UDM Pro in a smaller form factor. It really is an incredible achievement by Ubiquiti, and it certainly is at this price point. But that's not all. So now that 2025 is in the rearview mirror, what are the things that I am looking forward to in 2026? Now, I have no insider knowledge on this, and I'm not going to divulge any secrets here, but these are the things I think Ubiquiti could do in 2026, and I would love to see them do in 2026. So again, in no particular order here, I'm going to start off with the SuperLink sensors. As I mentioned before, I've been playing with the Zigbee MQTT stuff. I've got some water sensors, some leak sensors, some buttons, but a couple things about it going into 2026. First off, all of that stuff that we were buying inexpensively from China is more difficult to buy inexpensively from China now. So that playing field is being leveled. And secondly, that whole ecosystem is very cryptic, and how to make it work with one another is very difficult to not only install, but to maintain. And there's not a lot of documentation, and everybody's implementation is a little different. So just like everything else that Ubiquiti develops, the user interface and the democratization of the technology is really where the secret sauce lies. That ability to have really nice packaging, open it up, turn things on, and they just work really goes a long way. And I think that's how you develop an ecosystem of these smart home products that really just works. And on the back end of that, their ability to make or work with existing integrations like Home Assistant and others, I think is really a huge opportunity for them just to kind of own that ecosystem. So I don't have any inside knowledge there, but I'm really excited to see where they go with that in 2026. My second one is a little obscure, and maybe everybody out there isn't dying for this, but it's something that I really want. I would love to see them do an inexpensive 25 gig ag switch. Follow me for a second here. I think the USW aggregation switch, when it came out, I don't know, was that 5-6 years ago now, was a real game changer for a lot of people to be able to step into 10 gig networking at $269. For me, it was the first time I'd ever dipped my toes into 10 gig networking, and it was a great switch for an inexpensive price. In 2026, that switch has gotten a little long in the tooth, and I think that it would be the perfect time for a reboot of that switch with 25 gig networking. And it'd be awesome if it came in around that $500 price point, which would allow more people to play with 25 gig networking and to connect these switches that are capable of a 25 gig connection. So that's my somewhat obscure second choice for things I'm looking for in 2026. So for the third one, I'm actually going to choose two cameras. One exists and one doesn't exist. The one that exists is the new multi-sensor camera. I think everybody's excited to see what that really looks like in real life. I can't wait to get my hands on it and test it and put it through its paces and let you guys know exactly what it does. And my second camera doesn't exist, or at least it doesn't exist to my knowledge, would be a G6 Ultra turret. I would love to see a new G6 Ultra line come out. I think the low-end cameras really were amazing for the G5 Ultra line. I think they were a no-brainer for most people, and it would be great to see a G6 version of that same line come out. It would be cool if they got some AI detections. That would be awesome. But I do think at some point you're going to see some of these higher-end features come down to an ultra line, and I'd love to see those stay in that $129 price range. I think the G5 Ultra line really opened up the ecosystem to a lot of people that probably couldn't afford higher end cameras but wanted the higher end quality that the G5 Ultras delivered. So I would love to see a G6 Ultra line in 2026. So that brings us to number 4, and this may actually be my number 1. They tease this quite a bit in 2025. It's better global management. As an MSP, we deploy a ton of these devices, and the ability to manage them remotely is super important to us. Instead of having to log into each of hundreds of different firewalls, to be able to say, this is the new DPC technology, policy table and to be able to click a button and have that deploy all of those machines at once. The ability to back up and restore those individual policy tables, the ability to pre-stage and deploy things is super important, and obviously the ability to remote manage things in a single pane of glass. They've teased this quite a bit in 2025, and I know there are big things ahead in 2026, and I'm really super excited. And probably this is the feature that will have the biggest impact on my day-to-day life. So with that, I'm really excited to see what they do with global management in 2026. And that brings me to last but not least. If you look at their lineup, I think the UDM Pros are due for a refresh in 2026. Newer processors, better switching, faster throughput. I think that's all on the cards, and I think 2026 may be the year that they do that. Again, I have no insider knowledge on that, but I would love to see a new SC. I'd love to see a new UDM Pro, and I'd love to see a new UDM Pro Max. And kind of give it a couple different flavors in there, like they did in the past for people that need this onboard switching, don't need the onboard switching. But I do think the UDM series is next in line for a major upgrade. So what did I miss? What was on your list of best of 2025 and the things that you're most looking for in 2026? Put them in the comments down below. I'll read every comment on this video. And let's have that discussion down there. And as always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.